Yeah, absolutely. SpiderMan it is, and I understand it's already been going house full. So who better than Kamal Gianchandani, the president at Multiplex Association of India, joining in at the show right now. Kamal, hi, morning. Good to have you on the show. First things first, you've got a 4:15 a.m. show running here in Mumbai for SpiderMan.
Morning, Aisha. Very happy to be on the show. It's one of the best Thursdays that any exhibitor would be having for a long time. Yes, you're right. Spider-Man has got shows starting at 4 o'clock, 4:30, 5:30. Every half an hour, you've got a show starting as early as 4 o'clock. And a lot of these shows are going house full, and not just house full on current ticket sales, but they have been house full since Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So in advance, these shows were sold out. The fact that I would like to share, which is the most exciting part about Spider-Man in terms of box office goes, is that the response to advance ticket sales has resulted in cinema chains and independent cinemas experiencing the second highest advance ticket sales for any film in the entire history of Indian cinema. This is a milestone day today when Spider-Man releases, because the advance sales, which opened on Sunday late night, so between Sunday late night and Wednesday night, which is yesterday, the advance sales that we've seen are the second highest advance sales that we have seen for any film ever. And just to give some numbers to put a context to this statement, the total advance sales is roughly 47.5 crore gross sales. And when you remove GST, the net ticket sales, as we use in our trade jargon, is about 41 crore. Typically, advance sales are, films which do good advance sales typically do 10% advance sales in relation to their overall box office collection. So if that thumb rule is to go by, you're looking at a net box office collection of about 400 odd crores when Spider-Man finishes its run at the box office. Even if you take a conservative view, I think you're looking at 300 crore plus of net box office for a Hollywood film coming a month after Suryavanshi, which was another massive performer at the box office. Suryavanshi has done close to about 200 crore of net box office collection. And within a month, the next blockbuster is gone up by almost 50% at conservative level. It could go as high as 400 crore. So this is the best Thursday that exhibitors are seeing for a long time. Would be the best Thursday that we would see for many years, even into the future. And I think I can conclude this point by saying that the big screen is truly back in all respects now.
It sure is. I mean, going by the numbers that you're just talking about, clearly that seems to be the case. But clearly, Kamal, I mean, Spider-Man No Way Home has been a much awaited film. So I understand why this enthusiasm, the euphoria. But the other thing also is that now the window of the big screen release to OTT is also getting shortened. Suryavanshi, for instance, is already there on OTT platforms. Could that in any which way dampen sentiment going forward? Sans, of course, these big releases, I mean, Spider-Man right now, 83, RRR next.
It's a very good question. And as a short-term measure, the exhibition community collectively, obviously these discussions take place between producer and each chain and each cinema separately. But the conclusion of these multiple discussions was that as a short-term measure, the window, which used to be at 8 weeks, and window is again a trade jargon, is the gap between theatrical release and release on any other platform, be it streaming or television or any such platform. It used to be 8 weeks pre-COVID. Looking at the damage that was caused by COVID to our business, as a short-term measure, this window was brought down to 4 weeks. And on 1st April 2022, the window will go back to the erstwhile 8-week window. This is, this has been agreed with all major producers and our content partners and the producer and distribution community is being extremely supportive of these windows, because window as a model is a mutually beneficial model which has been there for ages, and not just in India. This is a global practice which has been around for decades. And it's one reason why the business has prospered and reached the level at which where we are today. And it's a practice which is mutually beneficial. Like I mentioned earlier, it's not just benefiting exhibitors, but it also benefits the producers. And in a counterintuitive fashion, it also benefits the streaming platforms and television platforms and all other platforms which release the film subsequently. But going back to your question, the window will go back to 8 weeks on 1st April 2022. There is an agreement with the producer and distribution community. What you see today is a short-term phenomena, but the good news is that Suryavanshi, which released in its 5th week on streaming platform, but at the same time it continued to be in the cinemas, a large number of cinemas, there was no impact on the box office whatsoever. The trajectory that the film was following, and which it continues to follow, as every week progresses, the box office tends to taper off. There was no major tapering off when the film released on the streaming platform, has been our learning. So, these multiple platforms, theatrical on one side and then streaming and television on the other side, and a couple of other pay-per-view platforms also put together, have worked out a rhythm where they are coexisting quite well. But just to put an end to this window debate, we are going back to 8 week on 1st April 2022.
Great. That was the answer that I was looking at. Kamal, just one more thing before, my other co-anchors as well take over for their questions. You talked about big numbers here. Suryavanshi, 200 crore rupees. SpiderMan, already you have a visibility on 300 crores. Have you at PVR reached a point where you can now up ticket prices?
Well, in today's platform, I'm speaking to you as part of Multiplex Association of India. So I would like to give you an industry context. But yes, I'll talk a bit about PVR as well. But firstly, the industry context is that the ticket prices are seeing a jump sequentially, month on month, in a very sharp manner. As you have, as you get these compelling big crowd pullers coming in theaters, our ability as exhibitors to increase ticket prices, because the willingness of customers to pay for a higher ticket price is more for bigger films. Our capacity or our ability to increase ticket prices goes up substantially when you have big films. And since Diwali is when the big films have started coming out, when you compare at industry level, the ticket prices in November as compared to October are up by close to about 18 to about 19%. Now, this is a jump that we've not seen in the last 7-8 years. So it's a big jump. In a counterintuitive manner, because a lot of people had skepticism with respect to F&B revenue, even that spend per head is seeing a big jump. In spite of some states putting restriction that you cannot carry F&B inside the auditorium and so on and so forth, in spite of those restrictions, the F&B jump has been unprecedented. I would not like to get into specifics for PVR, Uh, my colleague Nitin Sood, our CFO, would speak about it once we declare our Q3 results. But all I would say is that at industry level,
Right.
even at PVR cinema chain level, the numbers that you would see at the end of the quarter 3 would surprise a lot of people on the upside. I think aided by these compelling films, big blockbuster potential films, uh, all our revenue engines are firing
Right.
in an unprecedented fashion. So the V-shaped recovery that we kept talking about during pandemic,
Kamal,
we kept saying that cinemas will come back and we will see demand by force. I think those things,
right, Kamal.
those statements are coming out to be true, and we are indeed seeing demand by force.
Absolutely. Kamal, just a point here. You're saying that revenue is coming back, and you've laid out what's coming up as well with Spider-Man and the other big blockbusters that are in the reckoning. But in terms of the spends that you will have to make as an industry, you're now selling the experience. You've always sold the experience, but more so now with the availability of content that people have right in their homes. Are you going to have to spend, and where are you going to have to spend to draw people out and into the multiplexes?
Uh, it's a very good question. We've had to spend on, sprucing up our safety protocols because of the situation that we've experienced in the last 18, 19 months with the pandemic. There were also government directions which suggested and advised us to spend more on safety protocols. The good news is that safety protocols have been received really well. They're not interfering with the movie-going experience. Audiences, customers are feeling extremely safe, which is the reason you're seeing the advance sales and the box office numbers that we were just discussing. But frankly, there has been no shift in the customer habit. There was this long debate on where the customers will continue to come back to theaters, whether their behavior pattern will change, habits will change, or we will have less films to play in theaters because a lot of films will start traveling straight to streaming. Both debates have turned out to be incorrect. The inference which a lot of people had, the results that we are getting is the exact opposite of that. All the films which are playing in theaters are the films which were conceived and produced pre-COVID. And we are seeing response like we used to see during pre-COVID. So clearly there has been no change in habit. When I look at the release schedule, not just in December, but also in January, February, March, we've got slew of blockbuster potential films coming out week after week. Every month we have a big blockbuster potential film which can, go through the roof in terms of box office collection, just to give you a few names. Yeah.
Correct. Gautam, I'm so sorry. We're completely running out of time, and my producer's literally screaming in my ear that we have to take a commercial break, which is time bound. I would have otherwise asked you so much more about the releases and asked about when we're going to see more recliner seats in all of the PVRs, because as a consumer, I think a lot of us are waiting for that. And that is one habit that may have changed, unfortunately, out of time. Many thanks for joining us from the entire team that put the show together. It's a big thank you, and tune in again tomorrow at 8 a.m. Alex will continue the action forward with Buy Now, Sell Now.